Okay, so now you gotta set up your microphone.
Wait, do
Delicious.
Huh? She want to see herself.
There she go.
Okay, Betty.
Ooh, child.
Betty.
Ooh,
All right.
child.
I can't see my face.
She's trying to catch a
I
fish.
thought you'd have
Hold on. Let me take a picture.
I ain't bringing up clothes for this
Everybody
trip.
pull out your phones.
I should have had my titties out.
Hold on, so I can just.
Pull out our phones for what?
Just take a video.
Yeah, you
Oh,
right.
yes, we
Whatever
can.
you want to do.
I'm starting in 3.
Social media.
Is this
content.
camera right here?
Yeah, but you don't look at the camera. We're just gonna be having a conversation.
I'm in
look
here
at-
with these
I'm
important,
look at
famous
the
people.
camera.
And also, just so you know, all of this is getting published in the episode.
For
Alex,
what we doing right now?
Yes,
I'm dead.
Not you. Let me say something then.
Wait, let me record myself one more time. So
First of all, giving honor to God, who is the head of my
Who is the
life.
head of my life?
Then how we do these?
Yeah,
we
how
work with
close we need
these?
the mics to our
so
mouth?
you just want it like right under your chin, basically.
Oh, okay.
Under
I'll
our
show you.
chin?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be in the camera frame.
Damn, I look good.
You do look good.
Go on, tell the audience how good you look.
I look great.
Come on.
That's what happiness will do for you.
Breasts is sitting up high.
Some people can't relate. You know
Wait.
what it means to feel happy and look good
Now
and
we-
not
is
walk
it-
around
now we
looking
starting
like
off.
Testing,
already.
1, 2,
Is it
testing,
copyright
1, 2.
infringement if I start playing "On My Mama"?
oh my mama.
You'll find out in a few weeks when you get
Listen,
back.
that
Cease
song.
to-
Somebody gonna
Victoria
report.
and when they gonna send the cease and
Somebody
desist.
gonna report this.
They gonna send the cease and
It's
desist.
already
All right,
illegal
all
for us
Oh
to
my
be
gosh, I
together.
had a dream. Somebody last night tried to send me a cease and desist.
For real? What you
Yes.
doing?
I don't know what I was doing, but they tried to
Come
send me
on,
a cease and
tell
desist,
the
but they
audience about
couldn't.
this cease and desist before we get started.
No, they really
Lord,
couldn't.
we
It was
really
in my
up
dream.
here. He really recording this?
Should these be on later?
I'm
No, we good?
excited.
No, that's good.
Okay,
You're
good.
good.
Well,
right,
I don't
we
know
good?
what I'm
We
gonna
all
talk
ready to
about because
start?
I don't remember nothing.
That's fine. We just
We
gonna
gonna see.
we just gonna jump
See.
into it. I sure
Mic,
did
mic,
forget to
test,
write some
test.
questions down.
Oh,
We just gonna
come on.
whatever the spirit leads us.
Right.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And this is a free form episode. We're not doing it like we regularly do.
Wait, hold on. You got some
We ain't got no
drinks?
structure.
Some drinks somewhere in
Yeah,
here?
there's some drinks right there.
Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Y'all want something?
Is it that sparkling
tissue,
water?
please?
No, this is mine.
What they got?
I think
Water?
just water.
I
Maybe
think
some
some
Diet Coke. It's
Can
in
we
a
have
little
some
it's in a little mini fridge back there.
Oh, I didn't think I was
Yeah, it's a little mini
Oh, you
fridge.
know, it's a tissue right here. You know what I'm saying? This is cute though, so I'm gonna put this on.
Anybody gotta use the restroom?
Drop a few tears.
I'm good. I gotta blow my nose.
Miss, you want a Coke?
Nope, I don't want that. I'm good. I'm well quenched.
Look, I'm burning your throat.
Shut your ass up. The camera recording. Before I get reported again.
I'm about to be nasty.
You know your friend might be ear hustling. Looking.
Might be. Ain't no mic. She definitely is. Mama, the episode dropped.
Oh, mama.
The episode dropped. And nobody's studying.
They ain't mentioned us, but they added us. And where's it, Chris Brown? It's Freaking Friday. Ooh, look at me.
Oh Lord, I was listening to Pick Up Your
Pretty on the
Feelings.
camera.
I was listening to Pick Up Your Feelings on the way here.
By
I said,
Sister
this is all I
Sullivan?
needed.
Ooh.
The Jasmine song.
I need to learn her song so I can do karaoke.
Oh, that's my.
Don't forget to come and pick up your.
Yeah, we got a lot to get through.
That part, if you're gonna be successful.
I've been telling my dog this morning.
First of all, let me give a shout out to Charleston White.
Not
who-
Charleston White.
I'm just playing. That's my name.
Argue with you. No.
You just want to argue.
You mad.
How long it take for the episode to drop, Nick?
We're dropping on Wednesday.
Damn, that's fast. It's a fast turnaround.
We turn around
quick.
quick.
I can't wait.
White people time.
I know.
You know what?
Not white people time. All right, let's test this audio out real quick. You want to bring the microphone closer to you? You want to like right under your chin, so closer than that.
Like this.
They need to hear everything we got.
That's on video, and it's going in the podcast.
It's a recording.
I want to make sure this is on. Okay.
The camera was on
I
you.
got that from a video.
Coming to you
No, no
loud.
excuses
I'm mimicking
now.
a comic.
Coming to
No,
you
no.
loud, live, and in color.
Right.
All right. Caught Melody.
What
Caught
Louis
Johnisha
said?
in 4K.
Who says
No, we gotta get some more light on you. Hold on.
Nate, oh, you need to podcast with her,
Yes,
Nate.
please give me some light.
Podcast with Louise.
If I look a little dark, I mean that's not a bad
So
thing.
you know
but
Mel
also,
light
like,
skin.
get you over here looking white and the lights.
Not white,
Not
the lights
Not
up.
white or right.
That's what they were saying about the Mormons, the black Mormons.
Nate, I'm trusting you with these clips.
Make us look
You
good.
better do it right.
Hey, you don't know how like.
Ooh, child.
Oh, that's why.
I woke up in.
Are you on camera too, Nate? Nathaniel?
You see his shot? His shot was the
I
first
did.
one.
You're right.
Ooh, child.
Come on, light.
Let that be.
Come
On the
on, light. Let's do
Mel,
this.
fix your arm sleeve. Your right arm sleeve.
This big ass shirt. This shirt too big.
That's cute. That name.
You see my? Can you see my black girl magic or no?
period.
We can see black girl.
That's all you need to see.
So at least the audience will know what you are.
That Mel showing the breasts.
That's all. My shirt is all I'm interested in. Okay.
All right.
You want to hit my
Where's
DMs?
my light?
You
Is that
must
my light?
possess this. You must be
Yeah,
this.
I
A
think
black girl.
You got enough lighting. You good and lit.
Black
you
men.
lit.
We can't say. Can we say?
Look straight.
Yeah,
Can we
touch it
say
up
the
a little
N word,
bit.
Nate?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you good.
Mhm.
Niggas, I'm not interested. Okay, you don't have what I want. That's why I had to tell him, man, the security guard at BYU yesterday. That's he tried to get my number. I said, I got places to be, and drove off.
I cannot.
May I get your number?
Exactly that. How long will you be here?
You keep on going.
Come on. And that clip is going on.
Let me stop.
I
I'm
said,
at
so you don't have nothing I want. I
We
got
got-
places to be.
7 minutes of premium content here.
Okay, y'all, come on.
You
Let's get
gonna
started.
publish this, Nate?
Huh?
You gonna cut this out
Hold on,
right?
hold on. It just cut off. Hold on.
All right, let's do this. Oh, they got
I'm
his
excited.
own
Yeah, I can't-
podcast.
we couldn't do no Zoom.
Don't he?
Right, no, for real.
We couldn't do no Zoom.
He got a whole
A
podcast.
whole podcast. You
We-
don't want to be running the podcast now, ain't it, Nate?
This is little.
Oh, I'm not supposed to say that.
Well, no,
Cut that
so
out.
Rachel, she
Next
does
conversation.
too. Yeah, we work together. So like
Oh.
we'll take turns hosting, and then we'll like upload the podcast and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. But for a while,
Another
it
side
was
eye.
just me.
It was just you.
Sadistic side eye.
Right.
We've
Bombastic
rebalanced the
side-eye.
scales, but for most of 2023, I was running Black Menaces. I was
By
posting
yourself.
by myself.
Nathaniel.
Mhm.
Andre, you
And then
look
Sebastian
good.
came
Sebastian's
through.
still doing, but it's what he doing.
Yeah, now he's the one.
It's
Now,
okay.
now he's the one that's primarily posting.
Not
but-
the goat. You might be fine, Andre. You might
All
not.
right. Are we ready to start?
We ready.
We
Everybody
already. You got questions?
Hold on, let me
You
test.
gonna
I haven't
have,
tested
you gonna
the
have
audio
big
yet.
come in your
Okay.
DMs like
Let
I
him
want.
test audio.
Let's test
Oh,
audio.
my
Starting
bad.
with me. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay.
I like
Now
that
we'll
sound
go
like
to
it's on.
Melody.
Hello.
Okay.
It's on.
Johnisha.
Hello.
I ain't hear nothing.
Okay. Sultry.
What's good? It's your boy.
There we go.
You sound like you've been doing after dark
All right.
R&B album.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Dark Temptation. Coming to you live, 89.3.
I'm just trying to get in your ear and whisper a few things.
I cannot.
SEXX Radio. Your late night specials coming up next.
BT after dark.
That new joint from Taylor Swift and Bryson Tiller.
Okay, before we start, is there anything off limits?
I don't think so.
I mean, he can edit if it is.
That's
He
true.
can just
That's
cut
true.
it
Right.
out.
But-
Before we start, to be honest, I think we should start with a prayer. Who wants to pray?
A prayer.
Not a
Ooh. In public, I ain't done that
So
in
the
a
Lord
while.
can help us convey our message.
See, I'm glad you think we got a message. Cause I just come in and
Hey,
be
Nate,
with
do I need
friends.
this right here, Nate?
I need.
Because I kind of want to see Janisha's face.
You know, I don't know.
I just want to push it back a tad bit.
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay,
He
that's
wants to hear
what's-
reactions to stuff.
Because we need this.
That sounds sure.
We need
Push it
the
back.
looks.
Andre,
Mhm.
come on, brother.
Yeah, we're
Johnson.
ready.
Did that
Come
work?
on. No, we
Alright.
said pray.
Okay.
We gonna
Oh,
pray.
you want me to pray?
Come on,
Yeah,
brother.
come on,
Johnson,
brother
lead us
Johnson.
in prayer.
Nossa Pai Celestial. Heavenly Father, we come to you today as grateful as we know how to be. Thanking you for this wonderful weekend we've had with the besties. Our plans finally made out the group chat, and we're grateful. We ask that whatever we say, we may bring laughter to our audience. We may bring healing to our audience.
Amen.
And to our haters, may they continue to hate. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
May they
That prayer went
continue
right to the ceiling and fell to the ground. I like me.
That
Oh, God,
was for the
He
people.
told God to our haters, but to continue to hate.
We
God.
ain't worried about it.
When they go low,
Booze.
we go to the Most High.
I know that's right.
Not the most.
I love that. I tell you, definitely somebody granddaddy in another life, boy.
Child.
So if y'all haven't, if you can't tell by the first 10 minutes of this episode, we got a prize for y'all today. We have some amazing people in studio, some of my bestest friends in the whole world.
Hey.
Let's start off with Johnisha Williams, the original Black Menace, and we're gonna talk about that.
Really
Ooh,
though,
child.
really
The
though.
original.
And as a current Black Menace, I can testify that Johnisha is the original Black Menace.
The
She can
original.
tell you
Thank you,
all
thank you,
about
thank
it.
you,
And
thank
so
you.
you got Johnisha
The
say hello to the
OG.
audience.
I take that with pride. Hello, audience. Hello, America.
And for those of you living in Utah, Johnisha is single and willing to move to Salt Lake City.
He a lie and a half. Better come down to the dirty south, baby.
Next we got
Where you based?
next we got our resident straight friend, Melodie.
You got what?
She loves men. So men, be
Don't
sure
lie to
to
these people.
be sure to hit her up in the
Men,
DMs.
stay on my DMs, please. You ain't got what I want.
If you're a beautiful Black woman, hit Melodie up.
Please.
Okay. And then last but not least, we got Andra Johnson, who has been on the podcast before.
It's so great to be back.
He's back as a
And it's good to be seen.
Andre, our resident repeat offender. And then there's me, Nate Bird. Happy to be on the podcast as always. Today's a little bit more of a free-form episode. We're just going to jump right into it and talk about some of our experiences. So a little bit of background. Myself, Andre, Johnisha, and Melodie, we all went to BYU at the same time. We served in various leadership positions together. Andre was the Black Student Union president, and then I was the Black Student Union president. Melodie was in a couple presidencies, right? And then Johnisha, were you in a presidency, or were you just over
I was an
perspectives?
honorary member of each presidency.
Okay, yeah. You were honorary member of my presidency.
She was the advisor to the president.
Yes, exactly.
Right. She's the one that made all the decisions behind the scenes.
Right.
Johnisha was the chief of staff.
Right.
Olivia Pope.
Olivia
As some would
Pope.
say.
Exactly.
It's handled, okay?
And the male was Annalise.
For real.
And these kids, come on. Yeah, so we all worked together very closely to do a lot of activism work at BYU. We were involved in multiple protests, a class takeover or two. If when some racist incidents occurred.
Had them white folks scared.
We started some pretty incredible events. Johnisha is responsible for getting perspectives into the big auditorium. What do you call that? The big
The varsity
room
theater?
in
No, that's
I
not
mean,
varsity
the
theater.
ballroom.
yeah, the ballroom.
Ballroom.
Woo,
Johnisha's the one
woo.
responsible for getting perspectives into the ballroom.
Well, it was originally in the ballroom the year before,
Oh, was it? Okay. I wasn't
but there
there.
was
But it
a
was
few
empty.
people.
The seats were
I
empty.
filled the ballroom.
Okay, so
The
Johnisha,
pews were not filled.
Yeah.
Okay.
The buses were empty.
kind of
The
like
buses
last
were
night,
dirty.
I would imagine.
Yeah, it was less
We're
than last
there.
night.
Less than last night.
The,
Okay.
that first year I saw it, it was less than last night, and then the next year I did my thing.
Out
We
the
did
door.
our
Lying
thing.
out the
We
door.
did. We did standing room only for that year.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
It
every year
was-
following until last night.
Right.
Child, last night was a horror.
A mess. We're gonna talk about it. Yeah, so we participated in that. We did perspectives. I started BSU Junior at BYU, which is a mentorship program for Black kids in the Utah community, because Lord knows they need it. They need representation. And I remember how important it was for me as a kid to see like older Black kids and like want to be like them. So I was like, well, I want to make sure the kids have that experience. So started BSU Junior, much to the chagrin of BYU. They did not want to have it. And so they told me no, and I had it anyway. And then they got mad, but now we have it every year.
Period.
Yeah.
And
Period.
that's just kind of the way things went when we were at BYU.
They told us no, we find a back
we
door.
found somebody
A
else who
back
would do
way,
You
it.
had
a
to learn
back
how to
door.
do it.
Mhm.
Somebody gonna say yes.
Right, exactly. So
That's
if they
very
didn't say yes, we went to the next person, to the next person, to the next person until we got
Oh, we did it on
accomplished
our
what we
own.
wanted to. Uh-huh.
Baby Johnisha was in them offices
Mhm.
Every week.
That's what she do, everybody.
religiously.
Every week.
And all kind of friends. Oof. I'll tell you what. Look, I'm gonna just tell y'all right now. I'm gonna be messing up switching these cameras because I got to do it by myself.
Oh, it's
So I'm gonna
all
be
right.
pushing the button.
Yeah,
but just
you
know
good.
if it's
That's
just
cool.
remind me if you see.
As long as you got the audience, we all giving face.
Right.
We are.
Period. Face card never declines.
Child.
Ever.
This is what it looks like to be grown. That's what you got to look forward to. This and
Right.
crippling debt and bills and depression.
For real. Ooh,
The
depression.
joy of leaving
Don't
BYU.
forget anxiety, the sister.
All right. Yeah, so let's just jump right into it. Johnisha, you want to talk about why you're titled the original Black Menace?
Wow. Well, I was given that title, but I will humbly accept it. I don't know. My time at BYU, I think my first year I did what most people did, just push through, didn't see any, saw little things, but ignored it. Oh, okay, this is weird, whatever. So it got to a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore.
Yep.
And I remember I was sitting down in the library one time with my dear friend Daryl. And I was like, you know what? We should record this stuff so the world can see what we deal with. Because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the questions, tired of the looks. I'm tired of just all the little microaggressions that we were dealing with. And so I went to him. I had another friend who was in the BSU presidency, Ashley. Me and her sat down. We talked about a few questions and stuff. And then we rented a camera from the... what is it? Howard B. Lee Library.
Harold B. Lee.
Harold B. Lee Library. And we went to rented that camera. And we went out, we just started asking questions. And, you know, they weren't any leading questions. There weren't any questions to set anyone up for failure. Just standard question. Yeah. You tell me what you think. And you're going to show your hand and you're going to show the world how you are. And we just showed the world kind of how we had to deal with things. And so moving forward from that, I remember I attended Perspectives my sophomore year. And I was disappointed. I didn't. Now, mind you, I had went to Perspectives the year before, and so it was pretty cool. So Perspectives is a platform for the Black students at BYU to share their perspective, share their voice, share their culture, the same as Luau, Fiesta, things of that nature. But it's doing Black history for the Black students at BYU. So the one my freshman year was nice, cool. My sophomore year, I wasn't as much involved because I was dealing with my mental health because of the microaggressions and all that stuff I was dealing with my freshman year. And so when I saw Perspectives that second year, I said, oh no, this ain't it. This ain't it at all. Perspectives was on a Friday. I was in my advisor's office, who was the head of MSS, on Monday. 8 a.m. And I told her, I said, hey, next year, I want to do it. Next year, I want to do it. So I pulled my friends in. I pulled out my connections in. I had meetings. I was in meetings every week. I was a full-time student, worked full-time as a student, which was 20 hours. And I was a full-time Perspectives lead. Period. Meetings with the MSS.
Unpaid.
Unpaid.
Not getting paid.
Unpaid. But you know what? The reward was my payment.
You're good.
Okay. The reward was my payment. Seeing all those people fill those seats and the feeling and seeing the Black students on stage, the smile, them being able to be themselves, Melanie taking a knee, you know, stuff like that. That was my reward. So the pay, you know, I just rolled with it. And so, yeah.
Shall we watch the video that you made?
We can put some clips in there.
Yeah, there was some clips in there.
We can put some clips in there. That video went
well, it was like
viral in Utah,
multiple levels, right? Because you started in the library and then you went out on campus and then you got like officially produced videos of like single students.
If you ask me, I think they were Christ-like. Close quote.
Roll a clip. If anything was un-Christ-like in that video, it was what those students were saying.
Right. Roll a clip.
Nothing about what I did.
We're going to share it. It's 25 minutes, so we're not going to watch the whole thing.
Yeah. You just zoom to a random clip.
Any clip.
What is it you want to meet?
Oh.
Let's see.
You know, I haven't
you
seen
can keep
it.
going while I figure
out. Took over Perspectives. A lot of meetings, a lot of emails. When the MSS director couldn't answer my question, I went to the associate dean. When the associate dean couldn't answer my question, I went to the other associate dean. When that dean couldn't answer my question, I went to the dean of students. When he couldn't answer my question, I emailed the vice president of the university.
Somebody go listen.
No response, no answer. Or you couldn't answer my question. Hello, President Worthen. How are you doing? My name is Johnisha Williams.
We went all the way
You know
to
what I'm
the
saying?
top.
It's levels to it. You have to know how to work the system.
Yeah.
and you have to do it in a way that is, unfortunately, you have to go out of your way to make sure it's non-threatening, non-accusatory, and you're not pointing a finger at anybody. You have to come to them.
Which is why Johnisha did this work and not me.
And say, we have Martin Luther King and we have Malcolm X.
If they say Melodie Jackson name, they quench up everything.
They delete the email. Delete the email. Just went to him and said, hey, look, I'm a Black student here. This is what I need. This is what we need. What can you do for me?
And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
You know, Jimmy John's lunches, the Sky Room. You know what I'm saying? We enjoyed it a little bit, but it was definitely a process, very mentally taxing.
Yeah.
Exhausting. Because you're doing a full-time job.
Absolutely.
But you're not getting paid for it.
I was
And
an
BYU
MSS
just expects
advisor.
that.
Really?
They just expect that from
Director.
I was in there every day.
And the thing is, too, without the effort of Black students at BYU, nothing will happen.
Nothing.
And don't tell them you need to schedule an appointment.
Just show up.
Not at all.
I showed up.
Show up.
I said, hey, I see it. Her office is open. Can I speak to her for a second?
She's actually on lunch
You
right
right.
now.
You text them
That's cool.
directly.
Can you tell her Janisha's here?
Right.
That lunch is gonna stop real quick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what I was telling them last night, at BYU, you have to find friends, right? In administration, professors, allies. Allies, what you call it. I like to call it the Underground Railroad.
And that's a great comparison.
Because they not out
they
front
can't
with
let
it. You know what I'm saying?
everybody
You
know,
have to go to their office, close their door, and talk.
Yeah.
They gonna tell you what to do. They gonna tell you what to do. And I am keeping all names out of this for a reason. But if you need to know those friends, I got them for you.
Right. You need to hit us up. We'll let you know.
Send
All right,
Johnisha
we got this video ready.
Absolutely.
Let's play it. Here we go.
FaceTime me so I can see you.
So in what ways do you think we can educate BYU about Black culture?
I think this video is a great idea.
What is it you wanted me to reconcile myself to?
I'm getting chills.
I was born here almost 60 years ago.
Oh, the James Baldwin.
I'm not going to live another 60 years. You always told me it takes time. It's taking my father's time, my mother's time, my uncle's time, my brother's and my sister's time, my nieces and my nephew's time. How much time do you want?
Mel, you know they could probably hear you, right? In the microphone.
I love James Baldwin.
Okay. Ideas for.
So what are some of the challenges that you think
Good
Black
era.
students face here on campus at BYU?
That's a great question. I don't know.
So what do you think are some of the challenges that Black students face here on campus at BYU?
I think it's more of a self-esteem issue, that they look around and it's almost that they're overpowered by a different color. So they think that they need to be different in some other way so they stand out.
Okay, what do you think are some of the challenges that Black students face here on campus at BYU?
I definitely think some of the bigger challenges are just, feeling accepted. There's a lot of African Americans, I'm sure, that feel that, because they're not white, they can't really fit in. They feel that they don't have a place. And, maybe culturally there are a lot of differences. And so I think, if anything, that's probably the biggest issue, is that feeling of acceptance and socialization.
What are some things that you think Black people experience at this university?
I think some of the things they experience is people look at us differently because of our hair or the way we talk and our style.
But some of the challenges that Black students would face here at BYU, I feel like goes back to the whole prejudice. I guess answer with kind of cliques being formed on campus between whites and Blacks, maybe. Obviously, Blacks are not as prevalent on campus.
I don't like the way he say black.
No, right. It's the way he said
Just
black.
roll off the tongue.
We have a problem with this.
Blatant prejudice being, any racism outright being acted here on campus. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, kind of naive. I haven't seen any huge acts of racism, but kind of going along with what he said, I think that it's just being a super minority at BYU. I think you'd have to deal with being a Black student, people kind of doing a double take, just kind of being looked at a little bit more, I guess being noticed more, kind of sticking out a lot more than you would, I guess, in another environment or anywhere else.
Were there any specific questions that you remember that you want us to highlight really quick? Because I'm not gonna play.
No, you know what? For some reason, there's one clip that's sticking out in my mind. I'm in the library with 3 Caucasian males.
3 Caucasian men. Oh, I think that's this one right here.
I feel like I remember that the most.
Okay.
But other than that, you can play just about anything.
What they do? Call you a nigga?
Nah, not them.
Not them.
Let's finish
Somebody
this
else.
response then, because I think this is the one. You want to come look and see if this is what I'm talking about?
Curious, if these guys are I think a lot of the kids at BYU are from Utah.
Is that it?
And
Yeah.
so they don't see a lot of African Americans, but people outside,
They've had some good points though.
specifically from Utah, have a different, more of that traditionalist thought.
What are some of the challenges that Black students face at BYU? I honestly don't know if I have an answer for that. I'm not totally sure on that.
But I think you played enough of it. They're gonna go and watch it.
They're gonna, yeah, right. They can go
We
back and watch
refer
it.
you
We'll
to
post
the
it on
clip
there.
watch it.
Uh-huh.
to see the ignorance.
Yeah.
All right.
But there were a lot of good things about that video.
Oh, one thing we need to point out too is that video was filmed in 2018, 2019? 2018.
It has to be 18.
Fall of 2018.
Yep.
Black Menaces didn't come around until 2022.
Yeah.
So Johnisha was asking those questions
Ahead of the curve.
4
Yeah.
years before.
For sure.
4 years ahead of the
I didn't know
curve.
anything about technology. I just knew to turn that camera
Right.
on and put that
And
mic
start
on
filming,
their
yep.
put that mic in their hand.
And so 4 years later, the same, inspiration of wanting people to see and understand, but we had a different platform because
Yeah.
TikTok wasn't really popping.
Yeah.
I think it was around, but
I
like
don't even
nobody
think
knew
it was. It was
I
like
only had
Musically or
YouTube.
something.
Right.
I don't even think
Basically, yeah. And they were
he
still doing
didn't
like the
even
little
have
ads
TikTok.
on the sketchy
Oh.
games, join music. I was like, I'm not joining music.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was 4 years before Black Menaces that was going on. And they, there's still some wild things.
Yeah,
said
and
there,
I was
too.
solo dolo with that video.
Mhm.
For real.
I was catching the Ali. Now y'all was backing me up. I had people to back me up, but I posted that video, Johnisha Williams.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Johnisha
And
Williams.
them comments was
Man.
One thing about the
And I-
comment
and-
section, they're gonna show out.
Oh yeah, and
They
a lot
gonna
of people
show out.
want to hone in on the negative.
yeah.
On the negative. You need to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
It is not about, he said something that made him look racist.
Mhm.
This is about what Black students are dealing with at BYU.
Yeah.
And this video, so it got 30,000 views.
Okay.
Which was a lot. I think it was 17
That was
when
a
I was
lot.
like, I'm going viral. everybody in Utah seen it. The people who I needed to see it saw it.
Yeah.
And to this day, like a lot of, we've had a couple Black students tell us, like, hey,
Yeah.
I Googled BYU and like Black experience, and this video
You know
came
what?
up.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you said that
Mhm.
because when I got accepted into BYU, I said, you know what? I know I'm finna go to Utah. Let me see.
Mhm.
BYU Black students.
Mm.
I ain't seen nothing.
Nothing.
Not a nothing.
Rachel
Nothing.
actually, before Rachel came to BYU,
Mhm.
she watched this video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, I ain't seen nothing. Maybe like a football player here, basketball player here,
Mhm.
pregnancy here, something. And I was like, wait a minute. So when I did it, I was like, you know what? I want Black students to be able to see this because I wish I had this video. Not that it would have
Mhm.
deterred me from coming,
Right.
but it would have prepared me
Mhm.
And show you that you got
and
community.
show me I got people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
I got people out here.
Mhm.
that know what's going
Mhm.
on and got your back.
Yeah. Because I didn't know anything about the Black community when I got here.
Yeah. Me
And
either.
my
Me-
parents.
And y'all was here before me, huh?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't one.
No,
we
for real.
We started.
It was 3 people in BSU, and we
Yeah.
was all in the presidency.
Yeah.
But
We were not connected.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's very true.
So that was that. So that's Johnisha, the original Black Menace,
Yes.
straight out of Houston.
Thank you.
Mhm.
H-Town.
Oh, you know what? Can I address a couple more things too before we move on?
Get off your chest.
So I just to re-jog some memories and whatnot, I went through some of my old emails. And I remember I had one of my friends from the Underground Railroad tell me to write a proposal. If you feel like something is needed, write a proposal. So that's what I was doing at home on the MacBook typing. Okay.
Just
and I ran across a proposal. Let me read some of it really quick.
Try not to screenshots.
The
honey.
screenshots, the
Yes.
receipts. She said,
And this was sent to Dear Vice President Sharman, March 30th, 2017. And the mission of BYU is to assist individuals in their quest for perfection and eternal life in a stimulating setting where a commitment to excellence is expected and the full realization of human potential is pursued. I listed a few ideas that I have in order to complete that mission for multicultural students.
Absolutely.
Come on.
1, put in place a new office on campus to address issues of race relations.
What we have now, tell them.
2, You don't want to do that?
And this was before the co-rep report too, because that didn't come out until 2017.
Yeah, this is 2017.
3 years before the co-rep report.
2, put in place a new position in the current university office to address the issues of race relations. 3,
which they still don't have.
You don't see the need. Conduct a research project in order to see what the opinions and attitudes are of the current and past students in relation to a need of a race relations office.
Johnisha, what I'm hearing now is that BYU needs to hire you for these very jobs you just listed.
Above the curve.
Above the curve. Talk about prophecy in the church. Talk about revelation in the church.
Imagine how much PR trouble they could have been saved.
Man, what?
Listen to Janisha.
Listen,
2017.
What do I know?
Because they've been under fire. BYU been under fire.
What do I know?
Man.
I don't know nothing.
Not a nut.
And the second thing I wanted to address, multiple meetings. I couldn't find any emails on that. Multiple meetings about allowing a certain sorority on campus.
Call it out. Tell
in
them.
2018.
I remember that. Johnisha worked hard.
For black students, for black female students.
Specifically.
All I got was a no. But what I will say is that I'm happy that it's there today.
Yeah.
Yep. Just takes time sometimes.
Time.
Listen.
Time and a voice.
And now here,
For
and
a
also,
church that-
apparently they used to be on campus way back in the day, like
Oh,
in the
really?
60s and 70s. They was on campus
With black
before
students?
before BYU got rid of sorority. Yeah, they had.
They did.
Because that's how
I remember that.
Sister Hartwell.
Mhm.
Oh,
President
wow.
Hartwell's wife. She joined at BYU.
They
She-
need to do
she crossed
research
at
on
BYU,
that.
right?
Wow.
So-
Well, I wish
It
I would have
used
knew
to be.
that. I would talk to her.
Right.
I
Mhm.
wish I would have known that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it used to be there. And, and pointing all of this out, you said all them things in 2018, 2017, right?
Mhm.
Who knows what black students did before us?
No, for
what
real.
they was doing before,
But you know what? We have technology.
Right, which is a big difference.
Yep.
So we were able to make these situations more public.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do want to give the people who came before us credit. because
Absolutely.
We have been dragged.
Absolutely.
Even though they came for us on Facebook.
Right.
You know
we
what?
do know. We
Are we
support
gonna talk
y'all.
about-
We support y'all for even starting the
Wait a
Black
minute.
Student Union because we know the work that y'all did to even get the Black Student Union
Absolutely.
started.
Right.
So
And we
And we can
we are grateful and we
I can understand your struggles.
Yeah.
Because we had the same ones.
And also the
because I'm
desire
sure
to,
it was even fewer of
Yeah,
them than it was of
absolutely.
us. So
yeah. And
So
the
we
desire-
appreciate y'all and we love y'all.
Absolutely.
real.
Yeah. And I will say the desire to leave and not look back is very strong.
Oh,
so I understand
yes.
that pull as well.
Mhm.
Yes, but yes, it is. You're right.
All right, Melody.
Oh, I'm next.
Come on.
Yeah.
Next up on the mic.
Poet laureate.
Next
the
on
future.
Take a knee.
If the camera could film it.
Where you from, Melody?
Mississippi, Vicksburg, Mississippi in the house.
Come on. And tell us about your experience at BYU and the work you was out there doing.
Oh, Lord. So I grew up in the church in Mississippi and I was used to seeing, Black people everywhere because like those were my social circles. Everybody that I knew was Black. And the only time I really truly experienced kind of white people was in church. But I think one thing that the church offers to Black people that makes it so appealing, right, is kind of this almost this like a different life than what you probably experience on an everyday. It does, like, whiteness is attractive to a lot of Black people that join the church. And so for me,
You want to elaborate on that?
yeah, of like the kind of status that it can give you by joining the church, right? That maybe the social capital that it gives you, I guess you can say, right?
Mhm.
The opportunities that it can give you, the social networks that it can give you,
Yeah.
right? The idea that like maybe you aren't like other Black people. This might seem harsh, but it's very true.
Yeah.
One of the very appealing things that of why Black people kind of join the churches is this social status that it gives you, right? That you aren't like other people, or you have more opportunities that other Black people might not have in terms of education or even economic help and things like that. And so I think when I was like in the church growing up, I definitely I was aware of racism, but it did not occur to me that could happen in the church. Because I'm gonna be honest, I was striving for this like this status of kind of being different, of being seen as kind of not what my circumstances were. And I just thought, this is the Lord's church. There's no space for those things. So I went to BYU my freshman year. Like, there were people in my ward who was like, Melody, have you thought about going to like other schools? Which the suggestions they gave were not any better than BYU. They were like, let's help you apply to like Harvard and Yale. Those are just as white. But I was like, no, I want to go where there are other Mormons, and I want to go in the Lord's church. And so I went to BYU my freshman year. When I tell you, I knew I was Black. I'm not going to tell you the experiences I knew I was Black, because I'm still friends with those people and I love them very dearly. But I definitely had those experiences in terms of dating, low-key in terms of roommates, right? That I I wasn't hyper aware of my Blackness, but I knew that I was like different. But it was like BYU. I thought I was just fitting in because it's like the Mormons, I thought I was at home. So I went on a mission, and
where you serve?
I served in Rio de Janeiro. I don't know how you even say that in English now. Rio
Grande.
Rio.
I don't know.
How you would say
Rio
that in
Janeiro.
the English
No, that's what we
accent.
say, yeah.
But in Brazil, and I went to Brazil, and it's so very interesting how it took a different kind of cultural context and a different like country of Blackness for me to kind of contextualize and understand my experiences in the church. Kind of like, when Malcolm X went on his Mecca, right? I went to Brazil, and my mission president was Black. My mission president's wife was Black. My stake presidents were Black. My bishops were Black. My Relief Society presidents were Black, right? And I'm definitely not saying that
with
like
thirsty
whiteness,
afros.
right. I'm not saying that like whiteness isn't very prevalent in the church in Brazil, right? But it was something like, once I saw that, I started thinking back, like, I grew up in Mississippi. Mississippi is the Blackest state in the United States. And I only remember seeing 2 Black priesthood, not even leaders, just holders, my entire experience. I only remember seeing one other like Black family growing up. And so I started thinking, I became much more aware of like race in the church because of my experience with Brazil, right? And also the ways in which the Brazilian people was like thinking about me being Black in the church. They were like, first of all, they didn't even think I was American. They would see me and think that I was Brazilian. And then I would speak and they would be like, no, with that accent, but they would say, like there are like Black people in the church, Black people in America. And so that like also got me thinking about like my Blackness in church. So I came back from my mission the spring summer of 2016. And that was the summer that Philando Castile and who was it? Philando Castile and
I know you're talking about. I can't remember the name.
I can't remember, but I'll come back to it if I remember. It wasn't Eric Garner. It's Philando Castile and
it might have been.
No, it was the guy that got killed in Louisiana in front of the grocery store.
I don't know.
Eric Gardner was in New York. I'll come back to it if I remember it. But it was kind of like their deaths was like the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Alton Sterling,
exactly who he was. Alton Sterling was like this resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement. And so I started thinking more about like my race in the church because I was seeing kind of all these things that was happening in the world. And then I was like posting about it because I was trying to make sense of it. And I think I make sense, like the way I think through my thoughts is kind of writing them out and like using social media. And so I was making posts about it. And one of my best friends, Jenna, was a TA for sociology of race and ethnicity at BYU. And she saw my post and she said, like, Melody, I see that you're like struggling with what's going on. I'm the TA of this class. And I think it would be really helpful if you took this class. Like, I really do think you need it. And so I signed up for Sociology 323 at BYU, Sociology of Race and Ethnicity with Dr. Ryan Gabriel. Shout out to Dr. Gabriel.
It's one of the best classes on BYU campus.
Yeah, the first African-American person and men to get tenure at BYU. 2022. That school is over 150 years old. He's the first black person, first African American to get tenure in sociology. Well,
he gave me a C minus.
He gave you a C minus. I can't blame Dr. Gabriel for that.
No, Dr. Rue. I still mess with him though.
Oh, Dr. Rue. I had Dr. Rue.
He had Dr. Rue.
I had Dr. Rue. Love
also
him.
a friend of the podcast.
Dr. Rue wasn't teaching at the semester I took it, so I had to take it from Dr. Gabriel. And also Jenna was like the TA of this class.
Okay, cool.
But the hell they gave that man in that class. There will always be like this group of white men in the back of the class. Every single class, we would go over whatever the readings were, and they would just be like, "Prove it. This isn't proof." Or what's your authority? And I'm like, this man has a PhD. And Dr. Gabriel was always saying that. But that class changed my life because what I was struggling to articulate, that class gave me the language to understand what I was experiencing being in this white space. I was not aware of how white BYU was because I just saw myself as Mormon. I didn't see myself as a black Mormon. You know, I saw myself as black, right? But I didn't see myself as a black Mormon. I didn't know what that really meant.
That's true.
What that really meant.
I didn't make that distinction until I got to BYU.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I was a black Mormon. It was just that I was a black person.
I was just Mormon, right?
Mormon,
I was part of this culture. Like this was my cultural identity. The lies.
I was always black. I was always black.
For the record. I was always black too, but it was a very different black. It wasn't a black and Mormon, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in Mississippi, my grandmother would tell me stories, so I knew, like I knew I was black, but that blackness did not occur to me that I was also black in the church, and also like. The ways in which the people in the church treated me, I was the exceptional black person. So I didn't receive a lot of the kind of microaggressions and the racism that like my sisters received. So, you know, my sisters who were like had teen pregnancies. I was the good black girl. And so I was kind of, I don't even know if I was shielded, but I didn't notice it. Yeah, I didn't notice it as much because like Melodie was like the good black girl, you know? And so after that sociology 323, I said, "Oh, it's over. It's over. It's over." I was already like an activist and like, see, this is what I'm saying. I knew I was black. I was like doing a lot of work in like my high school in terms of like the black community in Mississippi. So like once I took that class, I had the language and I knew how to talk about systems, right? That this isn't just like an individual experience. And that class, what that class gave me was other black people at BYU, which I did not have before. Like all of my connections and friends before that class were all white.
Can I just point out too, I love that you said that you had the language moving forward. I think that's super important because like a lot of the things that I felt my freshman year at BYU,
you didn't know what it was.
I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to describe that or how to express it. So I'm just feeling all this inside and I'm trying to articulate this. I'm like, I'm feeling lonely, but like I feel like I don't fit in. Like I don't understand what's going on. And then like being able to get that education, take that class, and then have the language to express, oh, this is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling imposter syndrome.
That's a microaggression. That's a microaggression right there.
That made me feel that way. That's a microaggression. I feel like so having the language is so important. That's like that's the importance of
which is why every student at BYU needs to have some type of training on the ways in which race works, not just in the United States or in the world, but specifically within the LDS Church. Like that's why that class, whether that class or another class on race, needs to be a requirement. Dr. Reese said they're working on it, so we'll see. And we'll see how it goes.
And the thing is, the reason that a lot of white people are racist is not because necessarily they hate black people, but it's because they don't understand what racism is. They don't have the language to realize that when you tell, you know, your adopted nephew that, you know, they're, I don't know, you say something to them, that's a microaggression. Or like when you tell somebody this, or when you behave a certain way, you treat somebody that way.
It's a learned behavior. That's what Grandpappy said. You know, he said it all the time.
Exactly.
So they don't know.
And they don't have the knowledge or the understanding to be able to articulate what racism is. And so they just think that being racist is just you just the evil person. I'm not an evil person.
Hanging somebody on a tree. It look a little different in 2024.
Exactly right. Like you don't have to, you know, go lynch somebody, like you said, to be racist. But you can be very racist. You can say very hurtful things. You can do a lot of damage to minority groups, or not minority, marginalized groups. Just by not knowing, like not having information.
You can sit a little black girl at the back of the restaurant and sit an older white man in the front with a little black girl.
We gonna come back to that,
and that's a
that was a
problem.
crazy
Not
experience.
Uncle Joe, not the black establishment.
Well, let's not put the business on blast.
Please,
It ain't the business stuff.
That part out.
Fine.
We're gonna cut that out. But yeah,
I'm
that
sorry,
class
Melodie,
kind of like gave me the language, the frameworks to know, okay, I get it. I know what's going on here. I know what's going on. And so there was a girl in our class actually that was like, you should come to the BSU. And I came to the BSU and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be nice. Let me go support. And it was like 4 people. Not like I have pictures from it. It was 4 of us at the BSU. And I was like, what is going on? Like, what is this place? And so I knew that I wanted to do more with Black students on campus. Oh, that's what I was gonna say, Nate, before you said the language thing, is that that class gave me the language and that class gave me the community that I needed, because there were so many other Black students in that class who also were like either coming from their missions or thinking about all of this like racial turmoil that was happening in the world, and they wanted to find other Black students and find other communities. So I met some of my absolute best friends in that class, and we just started hanging out with each other and like just going to different events. Like we would go to the movies or just like say, hey, let's do homework together, because we just like needed to support each other. And so we started going to that class, and then I think either the next semester or the next fall semester, because of like my connections with Dr. Gabriel and kind of some of the other stuff that I was doing on campus, someone came up to me and was like, hey, there's this really cool class that you should take called a Civil Rights Seminar. And I think you would really just like benefit from the class. And so I took that class, and Miss Johnisha was also in that class.
Yes, I was.
Say, okay, Mike, Johnisha did not like me, but it's okay. We friends now. We grown now.
We grown.
But that class also gave me kind of like, so Dr. Rue's class kind of gave me the language to like understand what was like happening in BYU, and the civil rights class kind of gave me like the history behind like how do you even get here in the first place, right? Not just like Black history, right? Because I think we did a lot of work of how do we understand race in the church. I think Dr. Rebecca DeSwinis was kind of very good and like make it bigger or move it up.
So you don't have to lean forward.
Oh,
Make
yeah.
it longer.
Well, your adjustment. Yeah. So yeah, we did a lot of work on like thinking about like the priesthood band, because I don't even remember being taught the priesthood band growing up in Mississippi, like, which is of course because we don't talk about history, real history in Mississippi, right? And I remember just like so the way the Civil Rights Seminar works is you take these classes and you learn about this history, and then you take a trip down to the South, to Alabama and to Georgia, and you kind of visit these places that we had studied throughout the semester. And so I went on that trip, and one of the most memorable parts of that trip, the part where I just like felt the most, is we were going to visit a site where this white woman named Viola Luiso was killed. And she was like this white woman from up north who said that she felt that God called her to like work in the civil rights movement. And so she came down to Alabama.
Left her kids,
her husband. And her job was to like help register people to vote. And so she would take Black people to vote to help them register to vote. And the white people in this specific place found out what she was doing and followed her one night and ended up like shooting up her car and killing her. And that moment was just like so profound, because I said like, these people's racism is so deep. To protect their whiteness, they will kill their own kind. So of course I'm not safe. And that revolutionized me. I came back and I said, oh no, oh, absolutely not. And so we took that trip. I came back and I was just like, first of all, my allegiance is always to Black people, to Black students. Like,
talk about it.
I don't care about the salvation of these white people. I really don't care. If they're saved, if they're not, that's not my ministry. I know my ministry is to care for and protect Black people. And what I've learned since then is I'm not even here to protect all Black people. I'm here to protect those and love those who are here for me. So who are here to protect me. So
And
I
that's
was
very
just like,
real.
I'm here to uplift and support Black people. Like that is my job. And
Speak
so,
out it.
Right. And also like I really
I do want to say before we even go there, Melody does not hate white people. That's not the problem.
Nate
here.
said that,
Okay.
not me.
Jesus. Melody speaks for Melody.
I have no interest in whiteness. I have no investment in whiteness. I have people who identify as white.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully someday they will, unlearn that whiteness. But I hate whiteness. I hate white supremacy.
Me too.
And if you're white, if you identify as a white person, meaning that your identity is rooted in whiteness, I have nothing to offer you. That is just me. That's my opinion.
And that's
May
valid.
the day come where whiteness is destroyed and it exists no more. So that's what I say on that. But,
Ladies and gentlemen, Malcolm X. But wait, I wanted to address something. In Melody's defense, I ain't like nobody in that class.
Oh yeah,
I'm just throwing that out there.
Johnisha said it wasn't just you. It was everybody. It was everybody.
But I've grown to love them all.
Yeah, we were all going through our own things,
Yeah.
man. We were all going through our own things. Like imagine taking us coming from our context and dropping us in this space and like not thinking that we would not isolate or not, have our own mental health problems and all those things. Cause that is like you know how in like the 1950s when these Black children are like integrating these schools and you see these Black students being surrounded by this crowd of whiteness, that's essentially what our experience was. It's like dropping us in the middle of that, right? And so I also like really I was like, and people who know me, I was Molly Mormon growing up. Like I had a deep love for the church. Like this,
Me too.
I saw the church as like salvational for me, right? And so I was very, very invested in kind of helping Black people in the church, like create a space and fight for that, because that's what I believe. It's like we were going to be in this church and I wanted us to claim that it was our church too, because we had been here from the beginning, right? And so a lot of my like activist work on campus turned to like, how do we cultivate spaces for Black people in the church? And then we kind of all together with people who shall not be named, started this group called the B1 group, where we would have these different events to kind of support people who did want to be in the church, but also like create these spaces for Black people to be
For the YSA.
Yeah. And as we get into this, so that came, if you remember the B1 celebration where they celebrated what was
40 years.
The 40th anniversary of the church removing the priesthood and temple ban, which interesting thing to celebrate. I remember at the time being like, I don't know necessarily why we need to celebrate this. Like, I guess it's good that it's been removed, but like,
it was actually Black people who called for it.
Okay, well,
I looked at it as a time to take advantage of. Okay, cool. Y'all want to celebrate this? This is what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the Black
That's
people.
how I looked at it.
The Black people who planned it, though, they specifically said that like 40 years represents a very significant number in the scriptures.
That's true.
After 40 years,
okay,
the people, Moses' people were delivered out of the wilderness. And so it was this kind of like metaphorical celebration that like after 40 years, this was supposed to represent kind of a new dawn in the church where they would be delivered from this wilderness and not wandering. And we see that was not the case.
A new dawn.
Camera move. That was
10
not the
years
case.
later.
10 years
We
later.
still ain't
and
delivered.
We still in the wilderness looking for water. Well, no, because we don't care anymore.
You right.
We're not looking at
We out.
water
We
in the
left.
wilderness.
I love
But
water.
yeah, it was like I knew I was never ashamed of being Black. Like I grew up with people who survived in Jim Crow, Mississippi. Like we had a deep, deep love for our Blacks. Now you had to have a deep, deep love for your Blackness to have any sort of kind of joy or wellness growing up in that environment. And I was raised by, my grandmother. My grandmother was a sharecropper. That's how short history is. My grandmother's a sharecropper.
My
Only got
grandfather
an
was
8th grade
at
education.
sit-ins.
What?
My grandfather was at sit-ins.
Right.
Mhm.
Like only got an 8th grade education, had to walk to school because the white kids would not let they did not use the buses for the Black children. And when she was walked to school, they would throw rocks at her and everything. So like I come from like this long heritage and this history of being proud of being Black. I just didn't know how to think of that within the church, because I thought of the church as kind of like this blank slate of where these social issues didn't exist. And that I didn't have the language. I didn't have the knowledge to understand how everything is informed socially. Everything is influenced by what's going on in the world, even our religious spaces. And so I knew that like my purpose on campus was to tap into that deep love for Black people, that deep love for Black history, that deep love for Black bodies. I love myself, how I am. I have no desire to be white and delightsome. This is for specifically the Black people on Twitter who say that we believe this. We do not believe, speaking of we as in like Black Mormons, us at least do not believe that we will become white and delightsome when we are resurrected, right? The church did believe that, but just because the church taught it doesn't mean that we believe that.
We don't believe it. However, that is what we're taught.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we as Black folk don't believe it.
Well, we specifically in this room don't believe it.
I was never taught that.
I was taught that. I was definitely taught that.
They couldn't have fixed their mouth to tell me that.
Listen,
I love my melanin.
Listen, it was like this idea that like for me it was like, oh, okay, this is like another piece of doctrine. But also like I don't even remember being taught the priesthood band. So I was just like, I'm here to support Black students. I'm here to kind of show them that not even show them, right? Because my focus was never them. It was always us. How can I like support us? How can I uphold us? How can I, create spaces, right? Always cooking for people. People was always at my house for food and supporting them in like various ways, right? But yeah, it was a long journey. I think I'm talking too long. I want to give Andre some time. But
we moved on. We ready.
I'll pass the mic to Andre.
I'm passing the mic to
It's
somebody.
about goddamn time. It's about damn time.
Okay, well, I won't be long. I mean, you guys, I've already had my little podcast moment. So if you want to know more about my life, you can go back and look at the podcast. But
That's true.
I specifically want to just talk about community.
Yeah.
Right?
Love that.
All four of us here, we've had the same group chat for years. And there hasn't been a day that has gone by. And we've been out of school. Y'all been out of school for a minute now. And we talk every single day.
Yeah.
And I just think
For
that's
like
just
7
so
years.
7 years we had a group chat. We've been friends longer, but
that group
like
chat
6
could
years.
talk.
listen, if you have pissed either one of us off in 7 years, you have been drugged in that group chat. We have called you every name except you got drugged. Okay,
that group chat this
Listen,
week.
everybody got, even God can call straight.
If that group chat leak, I'm standing on it. I said it.
I meant it. But and Jonah, I just speaking to those who just go to PWIs in general, right? Or just places in your life in general, wherever you are, get you some friends. Get you some friends that that's just gonna be there for you. You know what I mean? You don't have to go through life lonely. Get you some friends because we went to school at BYU some years ago, but we've changed so much, and we've just been able to see each other change, and that's just kind of been really cool to kind of see.
And believe it or not, me and Andre used to be bald headed.
We used to be ugly, Nate. and this
Ugly
is
down.
Is this my camera? Let me speak to the Black people who go to HBCUs. When we go to events and it's other Black people from PWIs, help us.
Right.
We don't know. We ain't got no barbers at the PWI. Okay, we don't help us. Okay, for the girls.
Don't be out to the side whispering
talking about us.
And fame.
Okay,
Come on.
get your makeup out and help them girls.
Right.
Lay their edges down. Okay, get them clippers out. Help us. We don't know.
We supposed to be building the cross lines.
Yeah.
I never needed help. Never.
But
always late and slave.
That part.
Except that one time when that woman messed up my hair, but that's okay.
Ooh, not that woman.
Not that woman. Well,
and I had to wear a wig for a year.
You used to cock that wig to the side and
Lay
call
on
it a day.
had the name and everything.
I had to do it. I do not remember the name of that wig. Love that wig.
Another thing I want to talk about really fast is that, at our time at BYU, one thing I thought was interesting is that we all, not necessarily we all knew who we were, but we were all prepared to play major roles.
Yes.
Johnisha led Black History Month Perspectives. While she was there, Melodie was doing her thing. Nate was doing his thing, still doing his thing. I was doing my thing. And I think just all of that together, we were able to create, these huge movements,
The Avengers.
The Avengers.
Really
That
dope.
part. And, we were able to bring this huge group of, Black students at BYU together,
The ancestors ordained it.
Yeah, it
The
was a
ancestors
good time. We were
They
really
came with
doing,
us,
we were
and
really
we
doing community
prepared us
work.
for that.
And I think the Black students right now at BYU, they're doing their thing. I don't want to talk too much about it, but they did, they started a class for Black students. I think it's called the Rhythm and Soul group.
Collective.
Yeah, hit them up on Instagram. They got a class. And so, for
Love
future
that.
Black students who are watching this podcast, if you go to BYU, I'm encouraging you to take the classes that Melodie mentioned.
Yeah.
Sociology, what was it?
Of race and ethnicity.
Race and ethnicity.
323.
We've all taken it.
Civil rights
Rights seminar. We've all taken it. Me and Nate took it.
Yep.
We were fighting with some people in the class. And, but it was, you learn so much, get active, take this, join this class, the Rhythm and Soul class, when we went to BYU, and I was more of an arts person, my degree that I'm currently still working on, but I'll be done in May, amen. Is a music degree. And so my role with the arts, getting a choir together, helping step team out. And when I went to BYU, there was nothing for us. Imagine going to a school where there's some for the natives, some for the Polynesians, some for everything for the whites, some for the Latinos. But when it's time for Black people, there is nothing for us. And when we try to come up with something,
you get pushback.
That's too political. Oh, you got to go talk to such and such. You got to go talk to them,
And mind you, when they say it's too political, it's not crazy. It's not like we asking to post a rally or nothing like that. It's like a picture of a woman with an afro that we want to put on the poster.
It's probably because they picture male sitting on their front line, kneeling, doing this.
The taking these pictures of.
Baby, I was on a scholarship. I wouldn't get down there with y'all. I was on a scholarship. They wouldn't finna take my scholarship out.
I was scared. I was scared. I walked through the valley. What's it? The shadow of the death.
Listen, they treat me right. These some good white folk. If they give me money every semester, these some good ones. You get up off that ground.
No, for real. But mind you, we're not telling future Black students not to come. You need to come. You need to come. You want to come to BYU? If you want to come to BYU, come. But
come
be ready.
Be ready. I think the problem is that they don't inform BYU, or they don't inform Black students before they get here. So that you think that you're getting one thing, and then when you show up here, it's a completely different thing. So
it's not for the week.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that like your videos and like our experiences and us talking to other students and Black Menaces, I think that's kind of given Black students an opportunity to be more informed about the type of people that they're going to be coming across on a daily basis.
I would say that
this video.
Please watch these things before you make that decision. Because I will say, Johnisha said come. I'm gonna say you don't have to deal with this. You can be Black and Mormon in other spaces.
That's true.
And there are other spaces
Black
that will fulfill your needs, right? I guess the question for you is, what do you need out of BYU? And if that is a Mormon community, you'll get that, right? If you are more inclined to, I want more support for my identity as being Black or being a woman or being queer, I'm not sure BYU is the space for you. And I think you could find better spaces that will support you, that you can also still find Mormon spaces, because the church is everywhere. So that's my advice.
I think for me, I knew that God wanted me here. God wanted me at BYU. I tried to leave.
As much hell as you cost from that school. You talking about? Nah, I'm just playing.
God wanted me there for a reason. I also served a mission. It was at Provo, Utah, at BYU.
Right.
That part.
And I remember I almost left my sophomore year. I was ready to transfer. I got accepted into my home college down there. I had did my FAFSA, everything. I didn't have anything prepared for the next year. And I remember I was getting ready. I was leaving in a week, and I wasn't gonna come back. I was leaving in a week, and I looked out that window at Helaman Halls. I was an RA. I had looked out my window, and I was looking up at the mountains, and all I heard was, "You need to be here. Don't leave. You need to be here." When I tell you, my brother Mike, Mike
White
Mangum.
Mike. Shout out to Mike.
I
We love you,
call
Mike.
I love Mike. Love you, Mike. That's my brother for life. He went with me to my MSS. He went to me. I'm talking about my scholarships and they're trying to figure that out, trying to figure out where I'm gonna live. He went with me everywhere. I didn't get an endorsement, or was it an endorsement? You got to do one every year, right?
Ecclesiastical.
I didn't get none of that. He watched me experience 3 miracles that day. All the deadlines had passed, and I got everything done that day, and he was right there by my side.
I will say that's Johnisha's experience. This is not
That was my
everybody's experience.
experience.
So pray about it, talk to God, figure it out.
Yeah,
because I do
God
believe
gonna lead you. He gonna tell you
will
what you
do
need to be.
do. Exactly.
You better listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, one
It is
thing.
what it is. But I don't know who the audience is. Is your audience predominantly Mormon?
It's
It's a
everybody.
mix.
Nah,
It's a
yeah,
mix.
everybody.
It's
Okay. 'Cause
progressive
them black folks be
Mormons,
reading the hell out of us.
ex-Mormons,
Yeah.
it's black people,
What y'all being
black
Mormon for?
Mormons, it's people from all over the place.
Yeah.
We got listeners all over the world. So
Is there anything else we need to address? Do we need to address the haters?
Where we are now? I
no.
think that's a good
Forget the
question.
haters.
What we doing now?
where are we at now? Let's talk about it.
How has BYU shaped your experience to who you are now?
Well, it's here, man.
Keep
Well,
it. Don't be long-winded. Don't be
Got places
long-winded.
to be, people to
Yeah,
see.
quick, BYU. I'm grateful for the community I found there, for the friends I found there. If I had the choice, I would not choose BYU again. That place did some things for my mental health and for my physical health that I will be kind of unlearning and recovering from for a long time. Right? Being in that space also kind of maybe didn't give me the space to really maybe express all the parts of my identity as someone who now identifies as being Black and queer. I think leaving that space, also leaving the LDS church, because I don't necessarily identify as being Mormon, maybe post-Mormon. Don't give me the title of ex-Mormon. No offense, but they be doing the most. But I think BYU taught me that, forced me to learn that if I wanted joy, if I wanted peace, then I was responsible for that. Because these environments, these institutions are not going to give me that unless they're all destroyed, right? Which I hope for someday, right? I root for the end of the world.
Not
so
destroyed.
that something new can be created. But I think, BYU taught me that there's power in community. BYU taught me that that I am responsible for my own wellness and my own healing, because these spaces will not give them to me.
Okay.
For me, now what am I addressing? Where I am now?
Where you at now?
I love my life. I love my life. I'm happy. I live for me. I do what I want to do when I want to do it.
And that's never changed.
How I want to do it ain't never changed. I love my life, and I love that the process that the Lord has put me through. The journey.
Talk about it.
The journey. It has been a journey. Not shy of bumps and humps, but it's been a journey, and He's carried me along all the way through. Walking right there next to me, there's a poem. Y'all know that poem where it's like the footsteps in the sand. Yes,
you know me. I know about
he's
heart.
been there with me the whole time. The cries, the screaming, the fighting, the group messages, the Facebook posts. He's been there with me the whole time, and I was needed at BYU. I personally don't think I would have excelled at a HBCU because when I went back home, I experienced that lifestyle, and I wouldn't have went to class. I would not have been in class. So I think BYU was good for me. It was good to isolate me from what my environment was growing up, and I was able to really just focus on my education and learn certain things and meet these great people here. But I think BYU is a place. It's a place with its ups and downs, just like everywhere else. You have to find the light. And unlike I am Mormon. I am a
say it with a straight face.
I am Mormon and
and I am a active member, and I love my church. The last thing I wrote this poem. I'm not gonna read the whole poem, but I wrote this poem February 10th, 2018. And this is when we had our little poetry slam. It was BSU, right? Our little poetry slam and everything, and people perform music and all that stuff. And it's called I Love My BYU. And so at the very end, I say, I strive to be resilient. I try to provide a voice. Some say it's brilliant, but I feel like I don't have a choice. I try to help those who are behind with love and compassion in my heart and understanding in my mind. I love my BYU. Yes, this is true. I love my BYU. I just wish it loved me too. So that's all I have to say.
All right, Andre.
Child, where is Where is I'm here.
I'm here.
Yeah, I think I just can't stress enough. Get you some friends that you can take to the end, right? And for them, I can't say that. For people who struggle socially, I ain't got no advice for you because I don't. But find you some friends, stick it out. But on this note, I don't really affiliate with the Mormon Church anymore. Because I live in Utah and we all still have good friends who are still part of the Mormon Church. There may be some events we attend, etc. But in general, my mind going blank. Anyway,
you say you don't affiliate with the Mormon Church.
But you still go to certain events.
Still go to certain events.
So
where are you keeping friends?
Where am I now?
Community.
Get you a friend group. I was gonna talk about something. Anyway, it's gone now.
If it comes back,
I think I know what you were about to talk about.
What are you gonna talk about?
Sometimes people will allow the devil to use them. That's what you were about to talk about?
I wouldn't, but you opened up the can, so go ahead.
But I'm just gonna throw this out there because when you come up here and you do great things and you're making progress, there's always gonna be some pushback. And sometimes that pushback looks like you. And people, what happens is people feel certain emotions. What do they say? Envy, jealousy, things like that. And the devil is able to take that, magnify it,
that's scripture,
and use that person.
That's scripture.
Don't let the devil use you.
I don't believe in the devil. I think it's just deep. I think
it's
Ooh, child.
not good people.
I remember it.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, I agree. Don't let the devil, my babies, my sweet babies,
My baby.
don't let the devil use y'all. We love you for real.
Right.
Let that hurt go.
Exactly.
Let it go.
Supposed to be supporting.
This is what I was gonna say. Okay, now all my family's black, and I'm talking about we black, dysfunctional black. Anyway, while I was part of the church, I realized that my relationship with them wasn't as strong, and I think it's a little bit because of I didn't enjoy being in the spaces that they were in. But now that I don't really affiliate with the church, our relationship is so different. While you're in the church, they teach you that families are forever, families are eternal. But if your family isn't in the church, what you supposed to do?
And then you've been taught also that you're supposed to stand in holy places, only affiliate with people who are doing these things.
In the world,
your
but not of
family,
the
or
world.
you don't want to be.
So in a way, not that my family has always judged me. I think it was more of they care about me. They didn't want they didn't really want me to, to feel left out, or they didn't want me to, invite me to places where they know I wouldn't fit in. But now that I don't affiliate with the church, and our relationship is so much stronger. And I'm hanging out with my sisters more, and my dad, who's the straightest man I know, who's the best man. He's worked the same job since, I was a kid. Our relationship is so much closer. And everyone who knows me knows that I'm openly gay. And so I'm able to live out loud, and my family supports it. My dad is looking forward to meeting, whoever I decide to, date or whatever. And so I think for me, the church played a huge part in my life. And I think it was needed. At a certain point in my life. But as a black man, I feel like I've outgrown it, and there is nothing that a white man can teach me about God that I don't already know.
Amen, Andre. Amen.
And on that note,
the church served its purpose for what it needed to be. I've outgrown it. It does not serve my needs anymore. And that's it.
That was not my experience. And I only say that just because we've all had different experiences. I was on the block Saturday night, and I went to church on Sunday. But that's how I grew up. And I think I contribute a lot of that to my mom. I was just very strong-willed. The Lord say, come as you are. And so that's how I came. Unapologetically.
Okay, man, you are one sock on, one shoe.
God, for real. But
This is also a PSA, Really, what I meant was, men, don't come in my DMs.
You know what?
But beautiful black femme.
Femme.
am.
Let them know.
Very, very intentional in saying that. No disrespect to those who don't identify as femme. But it's a lot of my DMs.
Not Dr.
Don't
Dr.
come in my
Jackson.
DMs. My man is the Lord. And that's all I need right now.
Not mine. Baddies only.
Is there anything else we're missing, y'all? I think we addressed everything,
go,
right?
Andre. It's a lot.
Real quick, let me just say this. To the Multicultural Student Center at Brigham Young University, let me say this.
Smoke.
Get y'all shit together. Because the way y'all treated our black babies at BYU last night at that Perspectives program was not cute. And as the alumni, it's our job to protect them. They don't have a voice, them babies. But we're going to call it out every time.
And I will add, if your multiculturalism is grounded and founded on anti-blackness, then it needs to be rethought and needs to be thrown away and redone. The MSS office has never been for black people. We have had people in the MSS office that have supported us, but as an institution, they do not care about us. They support other students on campus, right? Other multicultural students on campus, but they definitely need to do a better job at supporting and listening to black students and also understanding blackness, because they do not understand blackness, right? They think it's this like monolithic one thing, right? Only this experience of the civil rights movement, which it isn't, right? They only are willing to engage in it in that way. And that's not true. So when those babies came to y'all and wanted to present blackness in a different way and y'all said no, that showed me that your multiculturalism is founded in anti-blackness. And that, if we're talking about spirituality and religion, is not of God. Get it together. That's my two piece.
Thank you, Malcolm X. Martin Luther King speaking here. After last night, knowing that all the hard work we did to build up Perspectives to where it was, seeing the performance last night and having to watch video presentations of previous years crushed my heart. Crushed it. I literally put blood, sweat, and tears into that show. I was in offices crying to advisors, crying to deans. What do I do? How could I do this? And so to see what it has become broke my heart. And I know I'm bound to be more involved as an alumni moving forward, because what happened last night can never happen again.
And for those of you who are not familiar with Perspectives at BYU, it's a Black History Month celebration started by a Black faculty member or staff member. I don't ever know which one's which. But anyway, started by a Black employee of BYU many years ago to celebrate Black History Month. The Black Student Union has always been the ones to, it's run through the Multicultural Student Services Office, but the Black students have always been the one to supply the people who perform in it, to choreograph a step routine and dance routine. We do that every year, to provide, different, everything about Perspectives. We provide the essence of that, right? And then the MSS office provides like the stage that we use, and they're involved with some of the planning and the themes and stuff like that. But it's the BSU who puts it on. And BSU went to the Multicultural Students Service Office and said, hey, here's what we want to do this year. Since there are many different types of Blackness and Black culture within the diaspora, we want to represent some of that. And so they said, well, we want to have a Caribbean section. We want to have a Nigerian section. We want to have a Black American section. Which, if you've ever been to Luau or Fiesta, where they, those are celebrations for Polynesian people or Latinx people, they have dancers from different regions, from different countries, whether it's Fiji, Samoa, Tahiti, Peru, Mexico, like different states in Mexico, different, all these different places, right? They have these regions set up. And so BSU said, hey, we want to do something similar to that. We're planning everything. We'll take care of the dances. We'll take care of the performances. The MSS office said no, but they didn't have a plan. BSU asked them, well, what do you guys have planned? Oh, we don't have anything planned, but your idea is not going to work. It's not anything different than what's been done before. So they said no to that. And then they told the Black Student Union that Perspectives, the Black History Month celebration that happens every year in February during Black History Month, was not for the Black students. It was not for Black people. It was for the general BYU audience. And so the BSU said, okay, bet. We're going to boycott this year. And they did not participate. And we attended last night because we'd already planned on attending anyway. So we attended, and it was a mess. They there was one black person in the entire show. The performance was less. The whole show was less than an hour, which normally is closer to an hour and a half, 2 hours. The whole thing was less than an hour. They had maybe 2 or 3 actual performances.
Yeah.
And the rest was video presentations of things that Black students in the Black Student Union have done in previous years. So they played a step presentation that was fully choreographed and designed by members of the Black Student Union. They took a video from that and played
Shout out
that.
to Deborah.
Shout out to Deborah. Shout out to Taylor. All of them, that choreographed that. They did the same thing with another video presentation. They took that from a previous year. And so they're using these faces of these students that they told, this is not for you. This Black History Month celebration is not for you. And then they took their faces and used them as part of that Black History Month celebration.
Ain't shit.
And so last night we got a very clear picture of what perspectives the Black History Month celebration looks like when it's not for Black people. And it was disgusting. And the MSS office should be ashamed. We're not gonna name any specific names, but fuck y'all, and you should be ashamed of
Shout out to the BSU for standing on business.
They were
so proud
solid.
of y'all.
They said we ain't performing.
They stood together for
They
sure.
did. They
It was
stood
beautiful to
together,
see
and
that.
we're proud of you. We support you. We love you. We
And if y'all
support you.
need anything,
You got
anything at all,
Call
let us know.
Johnisha.
Y'all are not by yourselves.
I'm
Y'all
here.
not alone. Y'all
Call
got,
Nene.
y'all got people.
yes.
Yep.
Y'all got people.
Look,
And
we
you
got
have people, right, that know how to work within that BYU.
Come
Work
on,
the
Dr.
system.
Jackson.
Absolutely.
You have people.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. And if somebody tells you no, we know where to go to where you can get a yes.
Yep.
We know exactly.
And go on the news.
Right. Talk to
Be in the
news.
newspapers. All that tribute.
Because that publicity, that's your best friend.
Absolutely.
That publicity gonna keep you
Funding,
safe.
Absolutely.
we know how to look white people for their money. We may better cut
Well.
that part out, but we can help.
On that note,
All right. On that note,
Okay, this was good, y'all.
This
Glad we
was
were able to
good.
do this. This was good.
absolutely.
There, you gotta go, don't it?
Yes, he
Yeah,
does.
we do
Should've
have
been.
to go. So we love y'all. We gonna
We
catch
love
you.
y'all.
See you next week.
No,
Bye, my
wait,
sweet
wait,
babies.
I want to give my Instagram.
Oh, okay.
You gonna tag us? You gotta give out your socials. So you can follow me on Instagram
Look
at
at her.
Kid Melody.
Being
So
womanish.
KID_MELODIE.
All right.
My name is Johnisha Williams. You can call me at 1-800-CHOKE that hoe. No, I'm just playing. I know it's _ Johnisha. Nate gonna put it on there.
you can follow me, my OnlyFans, Instagram,
subscribe.
Andre-Johnson 100. I think. Shit, I don't know. I don't know what the kids call it. I don't know.
On the book of the face.
On the book face.
On the
And then
tic-tac.
for us, it's always the same. Follow us at the Black Menaces on everything: Instagram, Twitter, not
TikTok.
Facebook, TikTok, and
YouTube. Y'all
the
got
Black
YouTube?
Menaces on YouTube. Yep.
Yeah, there you
Keep
go.
subscribing and keep
Okay.
watching them videos. And then also, if you want to donate, feel
yeah.
free to Venmo us at the Black Menaces or the blackmenaces.org
It's Black History
donate.
Month.
I'm finna Venmo right
It
now.
is Black History Month.
You
Thank
gotta
you.
patronize.
It's
Y'all
Black
better-
That's
History
right.
Month.
Y'all better give Black Menaces they
Send
do.
some money our way because we still out here
Yes.
making these videos. We still out here
Yes.
in the community.
Come
We still
on.
out here doing our things, not getting paid for it really.
Exactly.
A little bit, but not that much. And then also feel free to check out the merch store, blackmenaces.org/store. With that, we love you. We're gonna catch you next week.
Love you so
Hey.
much.
Y'all got
It said,
merch.
make it enough.
We got a little
Send
bit
me
of
your
merch.
website. I want to buy
They
something
finna be
from
just-
y'all. I didn't know y'all had merch.
Deleting and adding, deleting.
No, I'm gonna keep everything in there except that milk white people for their money part.
Yeah, take that out and bleep the hoe after 1-800-CHOKE that hoe. I don't need to be reported.
Johnisha said, I love my BYU. I'm getting this degree. What do you mean?
I'm an active member.
And the red church
I love my